Am I the asshole for serving a pregnant woman a non-alcoholic cocktail by Reddit Hall of Fame? Help me grow by liking this video and subscribing for more daily content. I have waited tables for the last 3 years. During my shift last night, a group of 4 women in their late 20s came in. They were a pleasure to have as customers. They ordered 4 of our house cocktails to start with and then went over the menu for their entrees. When I was on my way back to their booth with the drinks on a tray, I walked by the backside and overheard one of them talking about how she was 14 weeks along. When I rounded back, they were talking about the same topic, and it was clear to me that she was pregnant. I figured her having 1 drink wasn't a big deal. They ordered their entrees and I went off to handle other tables. About 5 minutes later, they called me over again and asked for another round. At this point I started getting concerned, but I took the order and cheerfully said I'd be right back. This time, I went to the bartender and asked him to make one of them a virgin cocktail. He was confused, but since he's a good friend of mine, I told him to just trust me. A few cocktails later, her strictly virgin, they started getting rowdy and Mrs. Pregnant Woman was also getting into it. I figured that, since she didn't notice, things were okay. The problem came when I took them their check and they asked to split the bill at the register. When Mrs. Pregnant Woman got to the counter, I saw her cocktails were marked with virgin. My bartender had edited each in the system for inventory. It was too late for me to edit them back, so I just had her pay, hoping that she wouldn't look at the receipt. They all thanked me and left, leaving a generous tip in the process. They were talking in the parking lot for the next short while, presumably waiting for an Uber. Several minutes later Mrs. Pregnant Woman came back and asked what virgin on the receipt meant. I fessed up that it meant non-alcoholic. She blank stared me for a few seconds and then asked if she had ordered a non-alcoholic cocktail. I said no, but told her that I assumed she wanted one seeing as she was pregnant. It was a lame lie and I'll admit it, but she looked me in the eye and asked me to return her part of the tip. I did so. Then she talked to my manager. My manager took me into her office and literally shrieked at me until hoarse. I stood my ground and told her that I'm not going to be responsible for fetal alcohol syndrome. She told me that she was taking me off the calendar until she decided what to do with me. She also informed me that I could get the restaurant in serious trouble for discrimination, and upon examination of my state's laws, she is correct. But when I talked to my mother and father about it tonight, they told me that they understood my position. The entire staff at the restaurant is against me, and I think that I'm going to call in and tell my manager that I quit, but I still feel in the right here. I would like some perspective on this, and if I'm the asshole here. You the asshole. You don't get to decide what another person of legal age decides to consume. Mind your own business. Christ, now it's okay for pregnant women to drink not only 1, but multiple alcoholic drinks? I'm sorry, but what in the ever-living f***? It's not okay in the slightest. But you don't get to decide what someone else does to their own body. You the asshole. Unless you saw the woman pee on a pregnancy test, you had no way of knowing for sure that she was pregnant. She could have been talking about someone else, a past pregnancy, or she could be planning to terminate the pregnancy. That wasn't your call to make. Even if the op was sure she was pregnant, it's not their call to make. Pregnant women still have the right to make their own decisions about what to consume. If the woman was pregnant and planning to carry to term, then she's an asshole too. Yes, she can exercise her right to put alcohol in her system and op doesn't have the right to make her decisions for her, but it doesn't stop her from also being an asshole for making the decision to exercise that right without knowing the woman's circumstances. However, she may have been intending abortion or op misheard the conversation. We can't really know, so I agree it's a you the asshole. You the asshole. I've spent most of my working years in food service, and half of that time has been in management. If I was your manager, I would fired you on the spot. While I agree that pregnant women shouldn't be drinking, you never change a customer's order without their consent. If you had an issue with her drinking, you should have taken it to your manager and let her deal with the situation. At the very least, if op had a moral disagreement, refusal to serve the alcoholic drink would have been the way to go, not switch it to non-alcoholic without consent. plus op was going to hide that fact, resulting in the customer being wrongfully charged, presumably more had not the bartender adjusted the receipt. Everyone sucks here, but you had good intentions. She sucks for obvious reasons. You suck because you had no way to prove she was pregnant. You altered her drink without informing her, and you made a big decision without speaking to your manager. Edit. If she isn't pregnant, Op is the sole asshole here. For the same reasons mentioned above, Op won't even expand upon what he overheard, just keeps quoting himself saying she was definitely pregnant. And to the snarky asshole saying, is that the only way to tell if someone is pregnant? And let me just carry a test around. Obviously not, but this also isn't about the customer trying to prove she's pregnant. It's about Op and his choice to assume the customer is pregnant simply by overhearing a conversation. Op cold asked the customer, but he still should talk to his manager first, before altering someone's food without telling them. Yeah, don't f with people's food in any capacity tbh. You the asshole. If you don't want to serve her, don't serve her, but don't try to trick her for her own good. You would not be the asshole if you had told her what you heard and said you didn't feel comfortable serving her alcohol. You also cold cut them all off once you saw that they were intoxicated. That would be actually living up to your convictions and dealing with the consequences. Also, you were expecting to charge her for alcohol that you didn't serve her, which is theft on top of the deception. I get why you were uncomfortable and she may be making poor life decisions, but you don't get to take her decisions from her. You get to make your own. You the asshole here. You made a lot of assumptions about a woman and a situation you don't know anything about. She might not want to keep it, but ultimately it's not up to you to decide what she can or can't put into her body. In my opinion, that was a pretty big violation of her freedom of choice. You did it for the right reasons, I'll grant you that, but that doesn't make what you did right. You the asshole here. Strictly because of how much trouble you can get the whole restaurant into for discrimination. It sucks majorly. I know that's a shitty position to be in. But I grew up around the bar and casino industry in Mississippi, and if your morals won't allow you to serve a pregnant woman alcohol, you tell another server or your manager and get someone else to serve her. Is that lady making a crappy choice? Likely. But is it worth the shitstorm that could happen to the restaurant? The potential closures and legal fees you might have brought down on your manager and coworkers? Not really. What the flying f***? It's everyone sucks here. If she has a viable pregnancy. Women who drink while pregnant disgust me to no end. I've seen fetal alcohol syndrome. I can't believe anyone would willingly do that to their child. If she has a viable pregnancy. You the asshole. Although it may have seemed like the right thing to do, it's not your call to make. If you had a problem serving her, you could have taken it to the manager and told the manager the situation. By taking matters into your own hand, you are risking every one of your coworkers' jobs. If she wants to be an absolute bitch, she could also have the restaurant charged with fraud or bait and switch. She ordered an alcoholic drink and was given one without alcohol without being told. They probably wouldn't find in her favor, but it would cost you and the company a lot of money and time to fight. Also, it was too late for me to edit them back. Shows that you were willing to charge her full price and lie that she had been served alcohol when she hadn't. You the asshole. This was actually one of the things I learned in tips, bartending, training. Pregnancy is considered a disability under the AITA, and you opened yourself and the restaurant up for a lawsuit. While you don't agree with her decision, it is her decision. I don't think it was your place to decide for her. I have a friend who found out her baby had died in utero when she was 8 months pregnant. From the doctor's office, she and her husband went straight into a chain bar restaurant and both ordered a double whiskey. As she was drinking hers, an older lady came to lecture her how drinking could kill her baby. For obvious reasons, she lost her shit. Moral of the story: mind your own damn business. You have no idea what's going on in other people's lives. You the asshole. You are not her doctor, nor her mother. Just do your damn job. This. So damn much this. During my second pregnancy, I went to my friend's bachelorette party. Was about 7 months along and finally feeling good enough to go out. Morning sickness lasted way too long. We were dancing, having a great time at the bar, and I was drinking cranberry juice, no alcohol. Cannot tell you the number of times some know-it-all 20-something had the audacity to come up to me and lecture me that I shouldn't be drinking. It was so rude and offensive that I didn't even tell them they were virgin drinks. I'd just chug it down in front of them. Even had one dude tell me that I was out too late and should be home resting. Even though my OBGYN has just told me that morning to go out and have fun after the hellacious first 2 trimesters I had slogged through. Strangers who unsolicitedly assume to know better than you about your own life/body are the absolute worst. You the asshole.